how does Bernie Sanders attract these Midwestern working class people?
And I'll tell you the answer. The answer is there's probably nobody in the United States Congress who has been more of a champion of trade unions, of the working class of this country, white, black, Latino, whatever, than Bernie Sanders has. Check my record. And what Bernie Sanders has understood is that you cannot win elections, not in the Midwest, not nationally, unless you speak to the needs of ordinary Americans. And the truth is that half of our people today are living paycheck to paycheck. You got 87 million people who cannot afford the health care that they desperately need. We pay the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs. People are sick and tired of seeing good paying jobs shut down in factories in this country as the owners move to Mexico or China in search of cheap labor. I understand those issues. I have been on top of those issues for a number of years, and that's why I think we did so well in Michigan and in Wisconsin and in many other states around this country. So to answer your question, we do not win elections by simply taking a whole lot of campaign contributions from the wealthy and the powerful. You win elections by standing up for the working class of this country and being prepared to take on the big money interests who have so much power over our economy and our government.
And now I'm going to just get into some Bernie Sanders specific questions. But last time around, it was essentially you and Hillary Clinton. Now you've got 20-some candidates. Yes. Now, in the last round of debates, you and Elizabeth Warren were on stage together, and I think it was Chris Matthews who said you guys looked like Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid taking on the Bolivian army. But
hopefully we did better, as I recall.
Yes, I think you did. But you took a lot of incoming. How do you, at the risk of sounding politically cynical, how do you emerge from that huge pack?
Well, I think we emerge because we have the record and we have the vision that speaks to working families all over Iowa and, in fact, all over the United States of America. And I think people understand that the ideas that I have been fighting for, to me, are not new ideas. Mm-hmm. Okay, I didn't look at a poll and say, well, gee, I think we should move in this direction. 4 years ago, the ideas that I talked about, whether it was raising the minimum wage to a living wage, whether it was Medicare for all, whether it was making public colleges and universities tuition-free, whether it was understanding that climate change, in fact, is a global crisis. And I've been talking about those issues for a while. They're not new to me. And we have developed platforms and programs to address these crises. Second point is where we will stand at, I think, for many of our opponents, is that we are in Iowa and throughout this country creating, I believe, the strongest grassroots political movement that we have seen in the modern history of this country. We have well over 1 million people who are actively participating in our campaign, who are volunteering, who are knocking on doors. And at the end of the day, the way you win elections is not just through TV ads and radio ads. The way you win it is through grassroots activism, and that's what we're focusing on.
4 years ago, you and I talked about, I was in awe of your energy. You're 4 years older now than you were last time we spoke. And you don't look any different.
It's very kind of you. You look pretty good, too.
What is the source? What's your secret sauce, Senator?
Well, it's thank God. I have been blessed with good health. And when I was a kid, in fact, I was a cross-country runner, a long-distance runner, and I think that endurance has stayed with me. And second of all, without sounding overly romantic here, I get a lot of energy from being out and talking to such good people. It kind of energizes me. It's much more fun in many respects to be out and holding rallies and talking to ordinary people and hearing what's on their mind and communicating with them. It charges me up in a way that sitting in an office in Washington, D.C. does not. So that's kind of one of the reasons, I think, where I get my energy.
And do you develop a sense of optimism when you get out and meet America?
I do. I really do. Look, God knows we face enormous challenges, whether it's climate change, whether it's the terrible gun tragedies that we have seen, whether it is the crises facing rural America in particular, whether it's healthcare, you name it, we have a challenge. But when I go out and I talk to people and I see so many beautiful people, so many great people who love this country, who want us to do much better than we are doing, people who are prepared to stand up and combat the divisiveness of Donald Trump and the hatred that he is spouting, yes, it really does make me love this country even more and get a whole lot of energy from those people.